So I just wanted to go over ways that we could start texturing our objects to make them look interesting. So here's my tombstone, and I'm going to go to my shading tab. And I'm just going to isolate this so we could just look at that. I just use the question mark or the slash button to do that. And I'm going to create a new texture. So you could see right here, I could just change the color into like a gray and have it look like a stone, like it's a gray stone. But that isn't super interesting. But we can add some nodes and little things to help make it look a little bit more fun. So one thing we could try to add is, well, first let's make sure if we go to Edit, Preferences, we'll go to Add-ons, and we just want to make sure that the Node Wrangler is on. So I'll just type NODE, and we just want to check and make sure that the check mark is on Node Wrangler. So once that is on, we can create, by going to add, we could search for a noise texture. So we're just going to grab this noise texture. Could grab that, and we could also search for maybe a color ramp. So right here, color ramp. So we're going to have these two things. So as long as we have the Node Wrangler on, if I hold Control down and click on, if I hold Control Shift and I click on one of these boxes, you could see that I'll see what's happening. So this is what the noise is doing right now. So you could see I could scale this to make, smaller noise. Maybe I'll do something bigger. I could pump up the detail and change the roughness a little bit until I get something, the distortion, you could see like really twisted up. And I think I like something like that. Looks okay. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the color of this and I'm gonna put it into here. And now if we hold Shift Control on the color ramp, we could see it's doing pretty much the same thing. But if I start sliding these colors, you could see they get, we get more variation and more contrast, right? So I could change the colors of this. So maybe I like the black, but instead of white, so I'm just gonna click on the little triangle part, and then I could change this to maybe like a gray, and maybe I could do something like that. So now I have something that's maybe a little more interesting to look at. We could play with the scale a little bit until, I want my tombstone to look like it's kind of dirty. So I'm okay with something like that, I think. So next we'll just take this color and put it to here. So now we have something that's looking like this, right? And that's a really simple way we could add some interesting texture there. We could also maybe add, maybe we want to make it look like it has some cracks or something. So we could add a Voronoi texture. So VORONOI, right? So again, we could hold Shift Control and we can click on that and we can kind of see what's happening. So there are some options, so we could kind of like play with these and see. I forget which is the one that I like. Okay, 3D, and I think distance to edge. Yeah, that looks like cracks. So we could change the scale. You know, maybe I don't want to have a lot of cracks. Maybe something like that. Right. So next, we could add a bump, right? And we're gonna take this and put it into height. And then from the bump, we're gonna put it into normal, right? So you could, let me just change the strength. And I think what I will also do is I'll add another color ramp. And I'm just gonna drop it right in here on this line, just so I can like change the contrast. What is it? Okay, that's not exactly what I want. Okay, yeah, there we go. So maybe something like that will be a little bit better. And yeah. Let's see what this looks like. Oh, and let me, there we go. So now we have something that looks like this, a bit more interesting. You know, we could play with the noise a little until we get something that we like. Yeah, I think that is good. So that's like something we can do to our models just by adding a couple of these textures. Not too hard. All right. Okay. So I think that'll be good for my tombstone. Let me grab one of these pumpkins, and we could try to texture this. So we'll make a new texture. Let's see, let's hit tab. So here is my stem, and say I want to select this like that. So if we hold control down and then on the numpad side, if we hit the plus button, we should be able to add to our selection. So that should be an easy way that we can grab our stem. So I'm gonna add a new material. So right here in the material tab, I'm just gonna hit plus right here and just add a new material, and I'm just gonna hit assign. So now the body will be this and the stem will be this. So let's go back to the body. So I'm gonna add a wave texture, right? And if we hold shift control, we can click and we can kind of see what that looks like. And then I think I'll do Z. So I think all right. So it's doing that. If we hold if we click on here and hold Control T, we can get this, and then